My brother Nikki, 25M, is married to Liza, 24F. They were at my parents' house on Sunday for dinner, and Liza really annoyed the crap out of me. Something that isn't new, and I said something in anger, and I might be TA for it maybe. So Liza has a wealthy family. They paid for her and her siblings' college expenses 100%. They paid for Nikki and Liza's house. They paid for their wedding. They're paying for one of their sons' weddings this summer. They can afford all that. Liza has always been very open, if trying to give her the benefit of the doubt about it. She never hid the fact she came from money and was never shy about saying her parents pay for so much for her and her siblings. Liza doesn't understand that we're not all that lucky. I'm 19F, work full-time, and I still live with my parents. We couldn't afford college. I didn't get the grades for a scholarship, struggled enough through school that getting into massive debt for college when I could end up flunking seemed like a bad move for me. So I focused on working, and I applied for a couple of training programs close to my parents' house so I could try and do better without risking debt for nothing. Liza looks down on me so hard for living with my parents still and for not going to college. Sunday, she talked about how all her siblings attended college, how 3 of them are still in college, living there and doing just fine, how they'll be able to buy houses right out of college, how even she and my brother could do it. My parents said politely that not everyone can do all that. But then she talked about being 19 and not in college or living on my own and how I should really try so much harder. I snapped at that moment, and I told her we can't all have rich parents who can afford to pay our ways through college, for our weddings and for our houses. I told her my parents didn't have that kind of money and neither did I. So we were doing our best in this shitty fucking economy. Liza told me I'm just lazy and making excuses, and she stormed out. Nikki left a while after, and he was pretty quiet. Liza used his phone to send me 30 texts 3 days later demanding I apologize and tearing me a new one for not doing it without being told, and I know it was her because she texts in a very specific way. AITA, like and subscribe. Best comments. Commenter 1. Intia. Liza had no right to judge you or to voice her opinion about what you were doing with your life. It sounds like her negative comments are untrue. She accused you of being lazy, but you are working full-time and seeking out opportunities to better yourself. College is not for everyone, and as you said, it could lead to significant debt. It is not uncommon for 19-year-olds to be living with their parents in this economy. She clearly has a very entitled perspective. Not many people can afford to buy houses straight out of college. Unless you haven't included things that you said in your response, I don't see that you said anything that you need to apologize for. You simply told her that neither you nor your parents had the funds to make college or moving out happen. She was the one that made nasty comments to you. So if anyone should apologize, it would be Liza. Commenter 2 on 1. The one being lazy here is Liza. The only thing she is doing is holding up her hand and collecting her family's wealth. Commenter 3 on 2. Ever read the 3-generation wealth rule? Here's a good write-up on it. The TLDR is that the first generation does all the work to create it, the second generation maintains it, but the third generation ends up blowing through it and squandering it. Anyways, Lizzie sure sounds like the third generation in this story. No appreciation for the work that went into generating the wealth, just happy to spend it and look down on the commoners for not having it. Commenter 4. College grad here, fully aware no one is calling me for my sales job expertise at 1 a.m. on Christmas Day to fix their electrical short, or broken water heater, or exploding toilet. Restaurants still aren't recovered from COVID. There is a huge shortage of skilled chefs out there right now. Asterisk, the beauty tech industry is doing better than ever, and you can build a client base and make really good money doing that too. We need skilled trade jobs. We need apprentices. We need people who can keep the world going in a zombie apocalypse. Mike Rowe does an excellent public education campaign on this and has a charity for scholarships into trade schools. You're on exactly the right path. Asterisk edited to clarify, I mean in the job pool. There are many skilled chefs, but they are not in the job pool like they once were because they don't have to restaurant hop to get the quality of life and pay they need. The skilled labor roles are not job hunting on the streets BC. They have employers paying them very well and are remaining at their spots. So they're either being headhunted or opening their own places, or looking to move to a more upscale place as they build their skills. Commenter 5 on 4. I was just coming to say this. Tradespeople are always in demand and can make really good money. What's the point in getting into debt just to have a fancy piece of paper that often doesn't even lead to a job. Commenter 4 on 5. I waitressed and bartended for decades with my degree. I will always be able to find a restaurant job to fall back on no matter what, no matter where I go in the world, and I know this because I have, many times and in very desperate times. I could walk into a quality place and get hired tomorrow with my resume. A degree job or office job, that's going to take weeks of qualifying and applying and interviews. Love my consistency of a paycheck now and a schedule I can control and benefits, but I work in food sales in and out of restaurants, so again, let's give a lot of credit to my years in the industry for getting me here with all of my practical applications. Sure, writing all those persuasive term papers on different literature for my English BA helped set the stage for convincing people to buy my stuff, but only in the abstract. Also to note, the safety net of a union is not to be discounted too. That's huge. Commenter 6 on 4. There is not a huge shortage of skilled chefs out there. There's a huge shortage of skilled chefs who will work for $15 an hour only to get verbally abused every shift and develop a monster coke habit. The restaurant industry has a ton of problems, ranging from the previously mentioned verbal abuse to wage theft to physical or sexual abuse. It's no wonder people don't want to put up with it anymore. Commenter 7. This, not to mention spineless managers and owners who won't stand up for their staff, and customers who make sure you know that they're better than you. I am never going back to that industry. Commenter 8. The wage theft is the part that pisses me off the most. My husband has been working in the industry for 15 years. With all the money the restaurant owners stole from him, we could have bought a house years before we did. Wage theft is the single most common form of robbery in the United States. Billions per year are stolen from workers by business owners, not just in the restaurant industry. This runs through all industries. Commenter 9. Completely NTA. Liza definitely is though. Just to add here as well, if you really want to go to college OP, you may want to look into community colleges. Depending on your state, it could be free or at the very least significantly cheaper. I personally didn't do well enough in high school to get a scholarship, but did well enough in community college that I got a scholarship when I transferred to a 4-year institution for the last 2 years of my degree. College is not for everyone though, and if you're not interested, that's perfectly fine too. Smiley face. Good luck OP, and I wish you well. Commenter 10. My 20 years old never had a job except for me and a few business buddies, WFH or small events, so relatively easy in comparison to now. When we moved last fall, crap hit the fan and I lost everything monetarily. He immediately applied and got a job at a warehouse working overnights. He's been working it since. By SIL standards, my son would be lazy and worthless. I don't have any respect for someone who could think my kid was lazy after saving my ASS when I lost my job, and we could have been homeless. He's worked this job longer than even his dad at his age. He couldn't hold down a job for more than 3 to 4 months, and definitely not overnights. My child is my hero and loads better than OpSIL will ever be.